As the festive season progresses and families gather under one roof, a multitude of dynamic social challenges can also be expected. These often include the resurfacing of old and lingering disputes, excessive alcohol consumption, and unreasonable financial expectations. The festive season also often leaves behind long-term financial and psychological effects, including over-indebtedness, communication breakdowns among relatives. To help families navigate these complex issues, we're now joined by counseling psychologist Chweneemang. Sam, thank you so much for joining us on the late edition. Families meeting once again. Really, at this time, we expect to bond and be happy, but this is a time where conflict can also arise. As it is, we were just speaking with colleagues and reading an article about a man in Limpopo who was stabbed by his brother and has died. You don't expect this. It should not be happening, but it does unfortunately take place. What do you think happens that causes these conflicts and animosity to rise up, particularly during this time of the year, Sam?
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers as well. Indeed, the festive season is quite, can be a very emotionally heightened period. Remember, this is the time when people generally, and families in particular, anticipate to spend time together and to have a good time. But this doesn't come cheap. It always comes at a cost. You know, there's financial implications about it. There are things that need to be put in place. There are preparations that need to be lined up so that the festive mood and the festive period is really maximally enjoyed. But it is actually during this period that what might have been underlying issues also usually strongly pop up, because now, during the course of the year, people have been apart from each other. People have been focusing on their different economic endeavors. And now this is the time, you know, for them to come and be together. And now you find that there have been unresolved disputes and issues that have been protracted over a long period of time. And now this is an opportunity for people either to iron these things out amicably, but also it does happen that it becomes the time when people now confront each other and things can really get out of hand.
Yeah. Sam, teach us how to resolve conflict in our families in a way that does not give rise to even more hatred going forward. It seems that maybe many of us are doing it wrong by maybe some people are much more upfront and want to tell a person, you have done me wrong here. Other people keep it to themselves. But what is the healthy way?
You know, the healthy way is for us, firstly, to appreciate the fact that conflict is part of human existence. You know, for as long as we are in the same space, sharing resources, sharing time, and anything that is actually of value, there are always chances that there might be conflict. But this is precisely because, you know, we might be having competing interests, we might be having different outlook towards life, and we might also be having incompatible goals. And this is likely to really lead people to develop conflict. So conflict, we need to firstly appreciate it and learn that it is part of human existence. The moment we are able to appreciate that, it's then that we can be able to develop alternative ways of really managing this conflict without exacerbating relationships to deteriorate, or rather to become even worse, and even sometimes leading to what can be a risk of danger and threat to limb or life. So it's very important that we need to always set ourselves up in such a way that when conflict arises, we should be ready to be able to tackle it constructively, because life should actually go on. We cannot go and coexist in a space where there is a lot of conflict and a lot of animosity. That usually escalates and leads to even worse situations where now lives can be lost.
There are also instances, Sam, where economic issues come at play, where one family member is employed, they are doing everything, others have lost their jobs. How do we navigate one being sympathetic to the one that has lost the job, but also to be reasonable to the one that can provide for the family? Because as I understand it and have seen it, this can also spark a lot of conflict in the home that goes on for generations.
It is quite important for people to really gear themselves up for constant engagement. You know, we need to appreciate realities that we are faced with a task of having to navigate through life. And this will require us to engage constantly. It will require families to set goals, to develop things that are important, objectives that are important for the family, but more importantly, to be more compassionate and kind to each other. And in that way, we are actually cushioning ourselves against any challenge that might lead to the destruction of the relationships that are existing within families. So it's important that there is indeed a constant engagement about these things, you know, that is honest, that is open and frank, but also that has got empathy, you know, encapsulated within it. Because without empathy, without us understanding the position of the other, we are likely to end up, you know, pointing fingers and saying things that might just really lead to the destruction of the family units, as well as, you know, generations to come, because we are likely unresolved conflict, unresolved misunderstandings usually spill over to children within families, and you find cousins and you know all those who come towards not really being able to live together because there were things that were not done properly by those who were before them.
I hope I can just squeeze in this is one last question about how we can support family members who also come home at this time of the year and have been struggling with mental health issues. In a very short answer, please, Sam.
Kindness and compassion are important. We need to be able to get into the shoes of the other. We need to always understand where other people are coming from. Because if we don't have that sense of appreciation of the other person's position, we are likely not to be able to sympathize or to empathize with them and be compassionate towards them. So it's very important. It is actually the cornerstone of how families should be constituted.
Sam, thank you so much for your time. Sam Chweneemang is a counseling psychologist helping us to navigate how we can gather together as families during this time of the year with minimizing conflict and really focusing on being in each other's company instead.